And all right, all right, all right. I'm here live with Gail Smith. Hey, Gail, how's it going?
Hey, Vera, nice to see you. Sort of.
Yeah, nice to see
very,
me.
Very nice, but only sort of seeing you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know what? First of all, Gail, just to kind of introduce you a little bit, first of all, I am thankful to be in position to speak with someone that's doing the work that you are doing. As we talk about children and how they suffer and how it kind of stays with them when they lose a parent, when their parent is locked up, incarcerated. And you got some grand ideas, Gail. So first of all, I would like to start the show off by saying welcome to the Cats Out Show, where we're here letting the cat out the bag. And we want to thank Team Work Inglewood with Mark and the amazing crew that I work with, and Martin G. Johnson and all of the rest of the navigators. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be able to work with Mark and Team Work Inglewood. So first of all, Gail, can you tell us who you are, where you come from, and what are you doing here with us today?
So my name is Gail Smith. I am a lawyer by training, but an organizer and advocate by nature. I'm from Chicago. I spent about 30 years of my career working with incarcerated parents and seeing what their absence did to their children. So I was really blessed to be able to work with a group of women called Visible Voices at CLAIM, Chicago Legal Advocacy for Incarcerated Mothers. And my colleague, Colette Payne, to try to do something about this. So I don't know how much you want to intervene, or you want me to just keep going.
No, you know what? No. That was great. That was great. Because you know what? So first of all, when we talk about incarcerated parents and, the children that are affected by their parents, being incarcerated, what are some of the ideas or some of the things that you would like to see in place?
So the biggest thing that we want to see in place, and why we pushed to get a new law passed, is we want the courts to stop sending parents away for little low-level offenses. A huge number of children are affected by that, and we had the opportunity to learn some things about what are the long-term effects on children when they lose their parents suddenly. We, as human beings, our brains develop and our learning develops by bonding and attachment with at least one primary caregiver. And separation from parents is an adverse childhood experience, which studies have shown, many studies over many different kinds of populations have shown that chronic stress that occurs when that separation happens, which is scary for kids and really traumatic, that has a long-term effect on their health and their brain development. The cortisol, the stress hormone, when you have chronic stress, it affects your heart, your other major organs, your mental health. So they were seeing through to adulthood, people suffering with heart ailments, diabetes, asthma and COPD, some forms of cancer, depression, and then people, because of the stress, people self-medicating. So young teens getting engaged in drug use, some kids even becoming suicidal. We don't want that to happen to children. So we got a law passed that now requires courts to consider their needs.
So okay, well, that's good. So, like, is there any examples of this happening to a child, or what kind of examples do you have? And then I guess the B part of that question is what rights do the parents have, going through the process? Is it some type of rights that parents have? So the first part is that, first of all, is there any examples of any cases in particular? And then the second part is what type of laws or rights do a parent have that we could probably put out there right now?
Great. So yeah, I have more examples than I can share with you in a short time, but I'll just tell you a couple that come from our advisory board. My friends were on our advisory board. One mom was arrested for helping to transport drugs, and her son was 7 months old when she went to prison. And that's a really hard age, an especially hard age to lose your mom. She came home after 1 year, and he just had some real struggles dealing with, the really bright kid, sensitive kid, but just dealing with normal life, so that by the time he was 10, he was attempting suicide.
Wow.
Just because that absence really stayed with him, and he didn't have the words when he was a baby to figure it out. Another friend who was in and out on minor property offenses, she had some drug issues herself from trauma in her childhood, has 3 boys. One of her sons overdosed a couple of years ago and died. One of her sons is in prison. And the third son is her only son, who's in the community with her and also advocating for change. So, we forget that a lot of times when bad things are happening to us as young adults or into adulthood, that a lot of that comes from our childhood. And so we want the system to stop, prevent that on the front end whenever possible. So here's what this new law says. A bunch of formerly incarcerated moms and a few advocates went down to Springfield, and we got this law passed. And it says that judges have to consider children's needs, and it gives parents the right to submit a family impact statement that the judge has to consider. And I'm gonna actually read you just one sentence out of this law because it's very strong. And I think everybody who cares about kids and who is in our community needs to know this. It says, unless the court finds that the parent poses a significant risk, not just any small risk, a significant risk to the community that outweighs the risk of harm from the parent's removal from the family, the court shall impose a sentence in accordance with the mitigation factors that allows the parent to continue to care for the child or children. So the court shall impose a sentence that allows the parent to maintain their responsibilities. It's not a, well, maybe, or if the court thinks it's important. No, the court shall impose a sentence that allows that parent to continue to parent their children. So it's a very strong law, and the family impact statement can include statements from teachers, relatives, neighbors. It can include a short video or a photo essay to help the court understand what's at stake here for these children. And it also has some very particular factors about how old the children are, whether they have any special needs, who's been managing their education, their medical care, all of those kinds of things, so that we can guide judges to sentence people in a way that doesn't destroy families and harm children's health.
Wow. That's powerful. Now, let me just be sure that I'm clear. Is this an actual law right now?
Yes. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. It passed. The law passed. Governor Pritzker signed it. And a couple months after it took effect, COVID hit. So it's never automatic that a law that's passed is followed right away, because not everybody will know about it. In this case, because of how the COVID really disrupted. The disruptions from COVID in the courts really slowed cases down, and nobody was getting sentenced for a while. And that made it even harder for court stakeholders and the community to know that that this new law happened.
Whoa. Okay. So we got to do a lot of things. First thing is, if people need to get in touch with you or get more information, or if it's somebody that's going through this right now and they're like, Gail, come and save the day, what do you have? How could people reach you?
So will it show up if I put my email in the chat?
Well, it'll show in the chat, but I don't know if so. You know what?
Okay, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it then. I'm going to say the whole thing and then I'm going to spell it. It's gail.smith at children'sbestinterestil.org. And now I'm going to spell that out. GAIL.SMITH at CHILDRENSBESTINTERESTIL.org. So there's two things that we do for folks, and you can find, we have accounts on, well, a not very active account on Instagram, but we also have accounts on Twitter and Facebook. So you can find us there. We have a workshop to help people, family members or people who are facing charges themselves, help them know how to put together a good, strong statement. They have to work with their defense counsel. That's how this works, is for their defense counsel to have this information to present. And one thing that it can do is, in some cases, it can help state's attorneys understand that they need to reduce charges or dismiss some of the charges so that the court can have a more appropriate sentencing platform. And sometimes it's submitted directly to the judge for pretrial decisions as well as for sentencing. So this can also affect people being released while they're waiting for their charges to be heard. Even a short separation can upend your life. You can lose your job, and that means you lose your housing, and then you lose your kids. It's very, very hard on children when those disruptions take place. So we really want to keep parents in the community as much as possible. The other thing that we do besides these group webinars to teach people how to do a family impact statement is that we consult one-on-one with families, whoever the point person is, whether that's the person who's in court themselves or whether that's a family member who's helping them put it together. We help write things up. We help them brainstorm, who could they go to for a good letter? What, depending on the children's particular circumstances, what do we want to make sure we have in terms of documentation for the court? So it's a way to honor the children's needs. This is also true for a disabled adult. If you're caring for a disabled family member, the court is supposed to consider that role and consider that person's needs before they send you away. And then not send you away, basically. And
not send you away. Wow, man, Gail, this is so powerful. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's gail.smith at children's best interest Illinois.org. So that's right. Gail, GAIL.Smith, SMITH at children's, CHILDRENS, best, BEST, interest, INTEREST, Illinois, IL.org.
That's right.
Okay, that was a lot, but guess what? I am also gonna put this into the chat so that we will have it, not the chat, but I'll put it in the message part of our YouTube video so that people can see it in the description part. So it'll always be there. Now, you mentioned that there was a group on Facebook. What is the exact name of the group on Facebook? And I'll put that link there as well.
I believe it is Children's Best Interest IL. That's, I think that if you do a search, hold on one second and I'll tell you exactly. Sorry.
No, please don't be sorry, because this is good stuff, Gail. And so if people want to, like, even, I know that people may want the service themselves, but what about people that may have speaking engagements, or people who would like to have you, come out to an event, or that would like to volunteer just to help you guys? Is there room for that?
Absolutely. So again, I would ask people to email me as a starting place. We've been doing some speaking events in the community and online. So we're always happy. Anything that we can do to get the word out. We can send people flyers for events if they, if they're really far away from Chicago. This is true for all of Illinois. What else? Volunteers. We've mostly used volunteers for speaking events or to show up at community events. And we would want to, have a serious conversation beforehand to make sure that everybody understands the law and is on message. But one of the things that we do is we include our advisory board members in all of our training for lawyers and judges, because hearing the experience, the lived experience of a family that's been through this, can really be eye-opening for them, for court stakeholders. And the full name of the Facebook group is Children's Best Interest Project. And it's a page. So Children's Best Interest Project.
Okay, Children's Best Interest Project. Got it. So again, yes, I will have the email attached along with the group on Facebook. And you said you're on IG as well?
Yes, and I cannot tell you the exact. If you search Children's Best Interest, you should come up with it.
Yeah, no worries. I will do my due diligence to make sure that all of this is in the description for those that, need additional information. Now, Gail, I know we covered a lot and we covered a lot fast. Is there anything that you could think of that we did not talk about, that those people that's watching this video, either now or people that will watch it later, is it anything that you could possibly share with them in closing?
Yeah, the one thing I want to say is this affects thousands of children. In 2016, Annie E. Casey Foundation estimated 186,000 kids. I think now it's probably about 200 children in Illinois have been affected by this. 77% of moms who went to prison in the last 30 years were locked up for low-level class 3 and class 4 offenses, the least serious offense you can be convicted of and have it be a felony. Why are we doing this? So I really hope that everybody will help us spread the word about this new law, because it could dramatically reduce the incarceration population in the state. And I think we will all be safer and healthier if we keep families together and if we sentence people to something that actually helps their family be stronger and not split them up and hurt their kids.
Now, Gail, again, thank you so very much. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you have the information and we cannot wait for you to share it with your friends and family members. Let's help Gail help those people that need help the most. It's the children. What about the children, ladies and gentlemen? And again, Gail, thank you so much for being here with me on the
Thank
Cats Out
you.
Show. Yes,
Thank
it's
you for this
official.
opportunity.
No worries, no worries. It's official, Gail. I did it like only Vera Giles-Norris could and like only Vera Giles-Norris would. The cat's out the bag. Can you give us a meow or a roar for the work that you're doing?
Wow.
I love it, Gail. And again, Teamwork Inglewood with Mark. Thank you all. The show is officially over. And